Have you ever looked at your plate and honestly believed you were doing everything right? Eating more vegetables, cutting back on junk food, trying to protect your health, only to still wake up exhausted, swollen, foggy, or strangely weak for no clear reason? What if I told you that some of the foods you trust the most could be silently damaging the one organ keeping your body alive every single second of the day, your kidneys? I'm Dr. Vincent Hale, and what I'm about to share with you may completely change the way you look at healthy eating forever. Because right now, millions of Americans are slowly losing kidney function without feeling a single warning sign. No sharp pain, no dramatic symptoms, just a quiet decline happening silently in the background, until one day the lab results come back and life suddenly doesn't look the same anymore. And here's the frightening part. Many people don't lose their kidney health from fast food or soda alone. Sometimes the real danger comes from foods sitting in their refrigerator right now. Foods they eat every day believing they're making healthy choices. That's what makes this so dangerous. The damage feels invisible until it's not. Tonight I'm going to show you which common vegetables may be overloading and inflaming your kidneys without you realizing it. And more importantly, the powerful foods that can actually help protect, support, and even restore kidney function naturally before it's too late. Because once your kidneys begin to fail, your entire body starts paying the price. Your energy, your heart, your sleep, your memory, even your independence. And if you stay with me until the end of this video, you may discover that protecting your kidneys doesn't require a perfect diet or extreme lifestyle changes. Just a few critical choices that most people never learn until the damage has already been done. The first food on this list shocks almost every patient I talk to because it's not fast food, candy, or soda. It's something sitting quietly in millions of kitchens right now, disguised as a healthy ingredient. I'm talking about processed tomato products, tomato sauce, ketchup, tomato paste, even canned tomato soup. On the surface, they look harmless. In fact, many people switch to them believing they're making smarter choices for their heart and overall health. But what most people never realize is that once tomatoes are concentrated into sauces and pastes, the potassium levels become dangerously high for struggling kidneys. I once spoke with a 58-year-old man named Daniel who proudly told me he had completely given up takeout meals. Every night he cooked homemade pasta with rich tomato sauce, believing he was protecting his body. But within months, he started feeling exhausted, dizzy, and short of breath. One afternoon, his wife rushed him to the emergency room after his heart began beating irregularly. Doctors discovered his potassium levels were dangerously elevated, a condition called hyperkalemia, something that can quietly trigger life-threatening heart rhythm problems without warning. And here's what makes this truly frightening. Just 1 cup of tomato sauce can contain nearly 900 milligrams of potassium. For someone with declining kidney function, that's enough to overload the body far faster than most people imagine. The kidneys simply can't filter the excess efficiently anymore, so the potassium begins building silently in the bloodstream day after day. The good news is you don't have to fear tomatoes forever. Fresh tomatoes in moderation are usually far gentler on the kidneys. Swapping heavy sauces for fresh herbs, roasted red peppers, or lighter homemade alternatives can dramatically reduce the strain. But simply knowing this still isn't enough, because the next food is even more dangerous precisely because families across America eat it almost every single day without ever questioning it. And if processed tomato products sounded dangerous, what comes next may be even harder to accept. Because this food isn't hidden in jars or bottles. It's sitting directly on dinner plates across America, served at family gatherings, holiday meals, and comfort food dinners people trust without hesitation. I'm talking about potatoes. Warm mashed potatoes, crispy fries, baked potatoes loaded with butter. They feel comforting, familiar, almost impossible to imagine as harmful. But for struggling kidneys, potatoes can quietly become a potassium bomb. Many people never realize that a single medium-baked potato can contain over 1,000 milligrams of potassium, enough to place enormous pressure on kidneys that are already beginning to weaken. A woman named Carol once told me she believed she had finally fixed her diet. She cut out soda, stopped eating processed snacks, and began cooking homemade meals every night for her family. But during Thanksgiving dinner, after eating mashed potatoes, sweet potato casserole, and roasted potatoes all in one meal, she suddenly felt her chest fluttering and her muscles becoming weak. Hours later, she was sitting in an emergency room, learning that her potassium had reached dangerously high levels. What frightened her most wasn't the diagnosis. It was hearing that the foods she trusted most were silently pushing her body toward a crisis. And this is where many people make a deadly mistake. Kidney decline often happens slowly, silently, over years. The body adapts until one day it can't anymore. That's why portion size matters so much. Simple changes like soaking sliced potatoes in water before cooking, boiling instead of baking, and reducing serving sizes can significantly lower potassium levels and ease the burden on your kidneys. But pause for a moment and ask yourself honestly, how many foods have you trusted simply because they felt natural or homemade? Leave a comment below because I read every single one. And believe me, the next food may shock you even more because it's marketed as one of the healthiest superfoods in America while quietly damaging kidneys from the inside out. And that's exactly what makes the next food so dangerous, because almost nobody sees it coming. In fact, millions of people drink it every single morning, believing they're detoxing their body, boosting circulation, and doing something incredibly healthy for themselves. I'm talking about beets, especially beet juice and those trendy superfood smoothies flooding social media right now. At first glance, beets look like the perfect health food. Bright color, natural sweetness, packed with nutrients. Fitness influencers praise them, wellness blogs promote them, and health-conscious families add them to smoothies without a second thought. But what many people never hear is that beets are extremely high in oxalates, natural compounds that can become dangerous when kidney function starts slowing down. I remember speaking with a retired teacher named Michael, who started drinking fresh beet juice every morning after seeing a viral video online claiming it could cleanse the kidneys naturally. For a few weeks, he felt energized, but then the fatigue started. His lower back began aching. He noticed swelling in his ankles and a strange metallic taste in his mouth. When his lab results finally came back, doctors discovered early kidney injury linked to severe oxalate buildup. Tiny crystal-like particles had started forming inside the kidneys, irritating and blocking the delicate filtration system from the inside out. And here's the frightening science behind it. Beet juice can contain massive concentrations of oxalates and potassium in just a single glass. For healthy kidneys, that may not cause immediate harm, but for someone with diabetes, high blood pressure, or early kidney decline, those compounds can accumulate silently over time, like shards of glass scraping against an already fragile filter. The good news is, you don't necessarily need to eliminate beets completely. Small portions eaten occasionally, especially alongside calcium-rich foods, may help reduce oxalate absorption. But concentrated beet powders, detox shots, and daily beet juices are where the real danger often begins. And if you think all vegetables are starting to sound dangerous now, don't worry, because what comes next may completely change the direction of this conversation. Some foods don't just avoid harming your kidneys, they may actually help them recover and breathe again. After hearing all of this, many people begin to feel overwhelmed. They start wondering if every food in their kitchen is secretly working against them. And honestly, that fear is understandable. When patients sit across from me in the clinic, one of the most common things they say is, "Dr. Hale, it feels like everything I love is bad for me now." But this is the moment where the story begins to change, because not every food harms the kidneys. Some foods quietly protect them every single day. And one of the most powerful is something most people completely overlook: cauliflower. It may not be trendy or exciting. You probably won't see viral videos celebrating cauliflower the way people obsess over smoothies and superfoods. But when it comes to kidney health, this simple vegetable can be incredibly powerful. Unlike potatoes or processed sauces, cauliflower is naturally low in potassium, low in phosphorus, and gentle on the body's filtration system. One cup contains only around 90 milligrams of potassium, making it dramatically easier for stressed kidneys to handle. I once worked with a woman named Linda who had been terrified after learning her kidney numbers were slowly worsening. Every dinner for years included mashed potatoes because they reminded her of family meals growing up. But after switching just a few nights a week to creamy mashed cauliflower with olive oil, garlic, and herbs, something remarkable happened. Within weeks, her swelling improved, her energy returned, and her potassium levels finally stabilized. She looked at me one day and said, "For the first time in months, I don't feel afraid after eating." And science helps explain why. Cauliflower belongs to the cruciferous vegetable family, rich in compounds like sulforaphane that help reduce inflammation and oxidative stress, two major drivers of kidney damage. In many ways, it gives the kidneys a chance to breathe again instead of constantly struggling to keep up. But healing the kidneys isn't only about lowering stress inside the body, because the next vegetable may also help protect the heart and blood vessels connected to them. And most people have no idea how powerful it really is. And that connection is more important than most people realize, because your kidneys and your heart are constantly working together behind the scenes. When one begins to weaken, the other almost always suffers with it. That's why the next food on this list matters so much, not just for kidney protection, but for circulation, blood pressure, and inflammation throughout the entire body. I'm talking about red bell peppers. Most people see red bell peppers as nothing more than a colorful topping on salads or sandwiches. But in reality, they may be one of the most underrated kidney-supporting foods in your kitchen. Unlike tomatoes, which become highly concentrated in potassium when processed, red bell peppers stay relatively low in potassium while delivering massive amounts of antioxidants like vitamin C, beta-carotene, and lycopene. These compounds help fight oxidative stress, the silent internal damage that slowly wears down kidney tissue over time. A man named Robert once told me he felt trapped between flavor and health. After his doctor warned him about sodium and potassium, eating started to feel joyless. He kept reaching for canned sauces and salty seasonings because he thought healthy food had to taste bland. But after replacing heavy sauces with roasted red bell peppers, fresh herbs, and homemade pepper blends, something surprising happened. His blood pressure started improving, his meals felt satisfying again, and for the first time in years, he stopped feeling exhausted after dinner. And that's the part many people overlook. Healing foods aren't supposed to feel like punishment. Red bell peppers add sweetness, color, flavor, and protection without placing the same strain on struggling kidneys. Studies have even linked colorful, antioxidant-rich vegetables with lower inflammation and slower kidney decline over time. So before you automatically reach for extra salt, ketchup, or processed sauces tonight, ask yourself something honestly. Are you feeding your cravings for a few minutes or protecting your body for the next 10 years? Because the final food on this list may be the most powerful of all, and it's probably already sitting quietly somewhere in your kitchen right now. And that brings us to the final food on this list, the one many doctors quietly consider one of nature's most powerful protectors for both the kidneys and the heart. What's surprising is that it isn't expensive, exotic, or difficult to find. In fact, it's probably sitting in your kitchen right now, and most people use it without ever realizing how powerful it truly is. I'm talking about garlic. For thousands of years, garlic has been used as more than just a seasoning. Ancient cultures treated it like medicine long before laboratories and prescription bottles existed. And today, modern research is finally confirming what people sensed centuries ago. Garlic contains a natural compound called allicin, released when fresh garlic is crushed or chopped, and that compound has been linked to lower inflammation, improved blood pressure, and reduced oxidative stress throughout the body. I once worked with a man named Stephen whose blood pressure refused to come down no matter how carefully he followed his diet. He was exhausted, frustrated, and terrified after learning his kidney function had started declining faster than expected. Instead of relying only on processed low-sodium products that still tasted artificial, he began adding fresh garlic, herbs, and natural seasonings into his meals every day. A few months later, his blood pressure improved significantly. His meals finally felt enjoyable again, and perhaps most importantly, he no longer felt like healthy eating was stealing the joy from his life. And this matters more than people think. Every time you replace excess salt and processed flavorings with natural anti-inflammatory foods like garlic, you reduce some of the silent pressure damaging blood vessels and kidney tissue day after day. Small choices repeated consistently become powerful over time. So if there's one thing I hope you take away from this video, it's this. Kidney damage rarely happens overnight. It happens quietly, meal by meal, habit by habit, choice by choice. But healing can begin the exact same way. And what you decide to put on your plate tomorrow may shape your health for years to come. And before we end today's video, I want you to remember something important. Protecting your kidneys is not about being perfect. It's not about fear, starvation, or giving up every food you love overnight. Real health is built quietly, through small choices repeated consistently over time. One healthier meal, one better habit, one decision to care for your body before it's forced to beg for help. Your kidneys work for you every minute of every day without asking for attention. They filter your blood, balance your body, protect your heart, and keep you alive silently in the background. And the truth is, most people don't think about their kidneys until something starts going wrong. But if you've watched this video all the way to the end, that already tells me something powerful about you. You care about your health, your future, and the people who depend on you. So tonight, before your next meal, pause for just a moment and ask yourself a simple question. Is this helping my kidneys or hurting them? Because those small, everyday choices may determine how strong, independent, and healthy you feel years from now. And if this video helped you, do yourself a favor and save it right now so you can come back to it anytime you need a reminder. Subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell, because every week I share simple, science-backed medical insights designed to help you protect your kidneys, improve your health, and avoid the silent mistakes that millions of people never see coming until it's too late. You are not powerless. Your body still has an incredible ability to heal, support itself, and recover when you begin giving it the care it truly needs. One meal, one habit, one step at a time, your future health can still change starting today.